Welcome to WROL Broadcast. I am Hate Mail. With me today I have Kage.
Hello.
And we have a special guest, long time coming from Court of Owls, Burger, aka the Big Mack in raids.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Well. We finally have the Burger King here.
The only guy who can outdo loot in raids, which is a hell of an accomplishment. So, pure insanity.
There's some pretty big diapers to fill, you know?
Yeah, well, that's the big secret. Just, wear diapers that can absorb a lot so you don't have to get off your phone the whole time.
That's the way to do it. And
so if anybody's looking for the secret, that's what it is.
Nice. And what's your secret to your wallet? Like, how do you have so much dough? Do you own like 3 Burger Kings or what?
So that's a long-term plan. You have to have like the short-term goals to say, what am I doing now with my life, and long-term. So long-term, it makes perfect sense to plug into some kind of like Burger King or McDonald's franchise. So if any of you guys that's making decisions there happen to hear this, don't skip out on me. Just hit me up, and I definitely want to be there. But for now, it's in retail. So we own and operate 250 stores for T-Mobile. So we get to have a blast doing that every single day, and be able to communicate and have fun while we do it.
Well, I'm going to send you a picture of my phone so you understand how desperately I need a new phone. So if they do any phone discounts, let me know, because I'll switch carriers.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we'll get you guys hooked up for sure.
And can you buy phones with gems is the other question.
All right. Well, that being said, what got you into the game? What's a man with so much money to spend doing with a mobile game?
So I think growing up, like comics and stuff were always really big, and it's actually so my dad obviously had the best deal out of it, but so when I was probably like between 10 and 14, I would mow like 12 yards on my street, so almost every yard on the street. So everybody else was paying me $20, $25 a yard to mow, but my dad was like, hey, I'll buy you a couple comic books. And so he definitely got the better end of that compared to everybody else. So he probably actually owes me quite a bit of money from back then. But yeah, that was that was a big thing. Like every Saturday, going to get comic books, reading about Superman, Batman, Justice League, all that kind of stuff. And as we got older, like kept liking that. It's so much of my day is spent towards honestly being out there, being professional, like having going out there acting certain ways. And so it's good to be able to unwind and goof off with you guys and be able to, have fun, getting kind of back to my roots and back to like the, comic days.
How long ago did you start DC Legends? Were you there from the beginning, or?
So it's probably been a little over 2 years. So I came on probably right around the time as everybody was doing the Deathstroke Lobo stuff, and that was like the big thing. And so, but yeah, a little over 2 years, I think.
So you missed almost a full year. You've done a lot of catching up because you're pretty close to a complete roster, aren't you?
Yeah, so I still have quite a bit to go. I mean, I have almost everybody. I don't have everybody like L5 or anything yet, but right now my big thing is trying to get everybody to 75, level 75 at least, and then ramping them up during raids or siege and stuff like that.
We don't want to gear too fast anyway, as you see many of our problems. So.
Of course. Yeah, that's a shame for hopefully people out there listening that can make that change, because you don't want to slow people down that are investing heavily and all that kind of stuff. Like that's the worst thing you could do for a business model, is then slow them down and penalize them for doing that. So outside of McDonald's and Burger King, if anybody at Warner Brothers is listening, definitely need to try to do that.
Well, the reason we had you on is we did not do a trash talk this week because Luke didn't want to say Azrael was trash, even though he doesn't really like him that much. What a shocker. But Berger took him to RB1 prior, and how high are you planning on taking him now that he had an actual gem pack sale, Berger?
So I'm going to go RB4. I already have enough to go RB4 right now. And so probably after Siege and things like that, I should be able to go RB5 if I ever wanted to. But, as you guys know, like I would much rather have more RB4, like just going that extra step. Like that's for you guys, the big whales out there. I'm just, I'm happy with RB4, and that's kind of like where I've kind of been aiming at for everything. But this is one of the ones that I will have the ability to go RB5 after Siege and stuff like that.
I think you might be smart doing the RB4 track. It's is the same cost to go from RB4 to RB5 it is to go from like R1 to RB4. So and then also you can rebirth more characters, and it's really not that huge of a difference. So I don't know, but the OCD in me doesn't like RB4, so it makes it tough. Mikage, you geared him too, didn't you?
Yeah, for the first time in a couple of months, I finally made a purchase. So
what rank do you have him at now?
right now he's at L1, but I had to find out the hype. People are saying some stuff about Azrael, and telling people that he deserves a nerf, which I don't know. I'm still testing him out. So
he really needs L2 before he's kind of crazy.
Special.
Yeah, before he's truly special. And one note before we get into the Azrael talk, if you're listening to the audio only version, you do need to step into the YouTube version because all of my matches are only Azrael versus a foursome. So, and I did not pick easy matches. So they are not blue teams. So, he's so much fun. So, Berger, we'll start with you. What are just your overall impressions? You were one of the first to have him, so you've played him for a good while.
I think the big thing that happened with it is it was more of like a fear factor for people like looking at it. Honestly, like the times that I would run into other ones during Siege early on, I only used him probably 30, maybe 40% of the time at first. And I went on a pretty good run without losing any tunes. But when I did start losing them, it was generally Azrael that I was losing first.
Hey, real quick, Berger, do you have like a phone dinging in the background?
Yeah, I'm on my MacBook and my texts keep going through.
Okay, are you able to mute the Mac real quick?
You are the most popular man ever.
Yeah, my phone blows up all day. So, I like the character. I've always kind of liked the character, from, very first times, like reading about him in Nightfall and stuff in DC Comics. I think that they've done a pretty good job of setting up his powers that, similar to what he had back then, or setting up his skill set, I should say. But I think overall during Siege, I'm not sure it really gave me a lot of benefit outside of people not knowing him at the time and them probably having to go into Siege matches against me and kind of make different changes just from not seeing how the tunes played. But again, I was only playing him probably 30 or 40% of the time. And I was generally he was the one, 2 of the first 3 tunes that I lost during Siege was 2 of them were Azrael. So I don't think it was really giving a big advantage just with this Siege being so green heavy.
Yeah, I haven't been able to use them a ton because I really wanted to. I did I stopped buying and dropped way down. So I started running into a few blue teams that would counter the green teams instead of people going green on green. And I was able to do a couple 2-man matches and a 1-case solo against a team. But generally, I hadn't been against the majority, like when you face the normal Siege meta teams, I haven't been able to do any matches with him where I felt like he was effective because there's just almost no blues half the time.
Yeah, this has been a pretty tough Siege, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, what do you think of him at L1, Kage?
He kind of sucks at L1. He really needs his kit. And I really think he needs what's the second legendary, the one with the he uses basic if he has true sight, right?
That's his one, I want to say, or maybe that is his two. Hold on, I'm gonna pull him up and see, because
Yeah,
you need his
his
5 and
two.
his 2.
He needs his 5 and his 2 at minimum, but I also think he needs L3 for the basic purge because there were matches where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna purge that character, and then he doesn't purge. I'm like, well, what the hell? Oh, I'm L1 still. So he needs his whole kit. I would say.
Purging 3
But
buffs is really strong, especially when you're doing it out of turn.
yeah,
Oh, for sure.
And
yeah,
that,
I've
Yeah,
had
5-2-1 is the way to go for the first 3.
and then even the
yeah.
overheal that you get later, it's more substantial than you would expect a normal light overheal. Maybe it's just because he does it so often. And then even that 50% turn meter down. I mean, he's one of those ones. His entire once you're L5, he's so good. My biggest challenge right now is I can't decide if I want to rebirth him or not because he doesn't fit my comps, and I know I've been struggling with this for days. And I don't want him to become another Flash where I like him. He's a cool character and I bust him out here and there, but I don't run him very often. But he's one of my fan favorite characters too, so that kind of gives him a little bit of a leg up. But he doesn't stun or synergize with any of my stun teams, so I'm so torn.
So what I'm thinking, what you could do is lost my train of thought. What you could do is run in with Aquaman, like I saw in that one video you showed. He actually helps enable Aquaman. Well, not enables, but he does a good enough job to support Aquaman teams because he won him with slower teammates.
Yeah, that's what I've been running with Aquaman, and then I actually like him a lot with Metallo because everybody just beats up on Metallo, and then he also gains strength up, so you want to get rid of him. And then eventually he should get another sale in the next month or two, I would expect, based on when his last sale was. And then, so I do kind of want to run those two together, but the shortage of rebirth crystals always makes this decision so painful and so difficult. If I'm smart, I'll do what Burger does and just do RB4s, because then I could squeeze in a few more of them. So for Legendary Order, we say, what would you say is most important, the starting true sight or the 50% chance to use his blades? I've been torn on that one. I'm leaning 5, but a lot of people think 2 is more important if you could only go L1.
I personally, go ahead. Go ahead, Peter.
Sorry. So the 5, I mean, to me, it triggers almost everything. I mean, his 3, like you get if you have true sight, right? His 2 also is triggered by true sight. His 1, you have to have true sight. So much of his moves really run into that. And that's why, like anybody, like the times that I really run into problems is when you have purgers on there, like Wonder Girl or Cersei and things like that. For some reason, it always seems like it takes his true sight off first, and then that kind of sets back all of his moves being able to do as much as they're meant to.
So I got a question. I haven't run this enough, but can't he use his buff, like his self buff, out of turn when a teammate gets attacked?
Oh yeah, he uses it almost every time.
And he gets the true sight from his 2, doesn't he?
He gets true sight from his 2.
So what I'm thinking is you would actually start with his 2 so he can use his basic, because you run in with slower teams anyway. Your teammates are getting hit, so he self-buffs. And once he gets that true sight, then he can attack. So that's my line of logic with that one. Let me read his kit one more time.
Yeah, well, it's 2. You'll gain 4 strength up, 30% shield, applied debuff immunity, and 15% turn meter if he has true sight. Actually, yeah, he doesn't gain true sight. I misread that. So
Okay.
he kind of needs the true sight to start, and then once you get the true sight,
yeah. So how does he regain the true sight? Each time Azrael gains 1 or more buffs on his turn, chance to gain true sight. Oh, so he can only gain true sight if he actively buffs himself. So no, you would actually start with his 5 as his first legendary order.
right, and that's where you can use the 2 and gain buffs. I mean, it's 75% chance, but it's not. If that 25% chance fails, then his kit isn't that strong. I mean, there's a huge difference. Like,
It's a strong kit. I would actually, yeah, you're right. I would go for his 5 first, and then go with 2.
and then you're right, 1's got to come next. And then I think it's kind of dealer's choice if you'd rather have the turn meter down or the heal. I kind of lean towards the heal, but I'm a little torn on that one too, because the turn meter down is useful at times.
Yeah, but it's a 3-turn cooldown move, so you're only going to use it once every few turns. So, yeah, I would say go with the heal first.
So I've been using the 3 like during siege has helped out a lot, especially with some of the greens and a couple of those greens hit really hard. And considering it seems like every single team I run against has Lex Lead or Martian Manhunter, and so being able to slow them down a little bit with that has helped out a lot.
It has kept me alive. The only Lex team I was able to beat with him, which I tried to solo Lex teams, and was because I was able to use this 3 and keep Lex from one-shotting him.
Really?
Yeah, because I could slow him enough to kill him.
That's actually pretty fun.
That's kind of why I want to rebirth him, because an RB5 Azrael could probably do obscene things solo.
Who's going to find out?
I don't know. Well, I mean, there's going to be a lot of people. I think Grandpa Owl's taking him RB5. There's quite a few people out there. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of rebirth Azrael out there. He is.
Yeah, so many gems.
It's so many
Look
gems.
at that.
It's 201,000 gems to go. I bought an
Jesus.
insane amount of packs. Insane. I have 100. I have a lot of shards. I think I have. I'm trying to remember. I have 1,705 shards right now over max, and it would still be 201,000 gems to finish taking them up.
That's insane. What the flip, man?
You did it with
That's
Artemis.
one raid.
Yeah, he's going to carry. Well, we'll see if Azrael or Batman CC carries us too.
I think you're going to use both this. I think that's just it. You're going to slot those 2, and that's going to be it. I don't think there's going to be any other teams this raid.
Burger, what are your thoughts? Are you thinking? How much do you love Azrael on a scale of 1 to 10?
Probably like 7.
7?
Yeah.
Compared to 2 other reds that came out this year that were really strong, Cassandra and Artemis. Well, actually, no, and Black Mask. How do you think he stacks compared to those 3?
Honestly, out of all 3 of them, like if I was having to go, like I kind of think about it, if I was going to need to go against the team, it would be Black Mask I would hate going against the most, depending on the characters around him are. Number 2 would be Artemis is who I wouldn't want to go. Then Azrael, and then Cassie Kane is the last one. Like I don't really have any issues with her.
Okay.
Who would you, if you could only pick one of them to take up to RB4 and the other 3 you just leave on the bench forever? Who would you pick out of that group?
Probably, honestly, like just to be an ass, probably be Black Mask. Because having him RB4 or RB5 would be scary. I think once that sale happens, that's going to be one of the ones that really starts messing up the. Or I mean, it'd be fun to play, but it's gonna suck to go against it.
I'm really shocked there isn't any RB4 masks out there, or RB5, or high rebirth masks, because he's so annoying. He would be super big pain in the butt.
Oh my god!
Because
Dude,
he'd be so hard to kill.
I'm surprised nobody was calling for nerfs for him when he came out. Because the first time I read that kit, I was like, "Yeah, that's Constantine. Red Constantine out of lead. That's so dangerous." And there was no nerf post. There was like, there wasn't like a YouTuber going out there.
Well, especially at the time,
oh
I
my
think
god.
Hal was still the dominant lead, so it didn't. Now that he's kind of come out of favor, it's gotten more prevalent.
Yeah. So
and plus, he doesn't do a lot of damage, really. So I think that was probably one thing. Like if he did a lot more damage, then I think a lot of people would probably be calling for that.
But I think at RB5, he'd be really hard to kill, and his damage would be significantly increased. He would be a nightmare.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
So,
think Arcus will still solve them, like he solves everything else, but
That's true.
So you're saying he's not as hyped as Tewty thinks he is.
Oh no, yeah, not at all. I mean, playing with them. I mean, again, like he dies pretty regularly, and there's so many different counters for him. Like to me, it doesn't seem like there should be like a big nerf for it. I just think it was more new character, has the potential to ramp up a lot. Like if you can keep true sight on him, especially. And so it was just one of those things that like everybody got kind of worried about.
he can get scary fast, but he's easily dealt with. Especially, I mean, Brainiac. Just run Brainiac if you see him. He can't. His auto turn attacks mean nothing then.
Yeah. No, it's so funny. Tewty was like running up against a non-debuff team, so like Wonder Girl and everyone can like purge like the diseases. And Tewty sitting there using this F tier trash characters like Ross. Like, yeah, Ross is gonna kill Azrael. No, why would you use Ross versus Azrael? That is so dumb. You are so dumb.
Well, we love
you. Whatever.
We love you.
Yeah, we love you. But Jesus Christ, man.
I don't know. We'll see in a couple months how bad he is. Before we wrap this up, what are your favorite teams with him? Burger.
My favorite teams?
Yeah, who do you like bringing with him?
So right now, like my big auto team, and so I like finding auto teams because then I know I can have a lot of defensive wins, and so I generally just try to plug and play people. Superman is always his lead. Azrael, and then Grundy for sure. But obviously my Grundy's RB2, so he's a pretty good punching bag for others, and he can absorb some hits. And then lately I've been running Wonder Girl with it, but I mean Donna Troy would be great as well because then she would just keep triggering, allowing him to hit his 3, uses 2 more often, and all that kind of stuff. So, but that's my big team right now. So far, I'm running through the boards pretty regularly. Like I'm trying to think of. Loot actually had one team that I had to switch off of auto and kind of beat, but I forgot who he had on there. And I think one was Red Hood lead. But outside of that, I mean that's the big team I'm using right now.
See, I wouldn't think Donna Troy do well with him because you want your characters to get hit, but then also that counter argument that should just keep speeding them up whenever you do manage to get through does sound appealing. But Superman he's a pain with him because I've faced him with Superman a lot.
Yeah, I hate Superman.
So so I know obviously this is my first time on here. I don't know what your thoughts are, but what if we do something, you could choose what it is, but for all your listeners, we do like some sort of giveaway, and if they win, I'll send them a $100 gift card for either Google Play Store or iOS.
Oh wow! Yeah, we were actually thinking about doing that. Talking in the back.
Actually, this is a good time because we were going to announce the summer games on the last because we only have one day left of summer. So why don't we do a summer games? And the idea I had, and tell me what you guys think of this: best solo win. Doesn't have to be Azrael. You could use Cassandra Cain. You could use who's the blue guy? I just blanked out his name. Saint Walker?
Grundy?
Yeah, Saint Walker. Grundy. Grundy ain't solo and nobody. Saint Walker solo. Whatever your best solo win is. Record it however you can record it. Doesn't matter where or how. And then post it somewhere. And whoever can pull off the coolest, best win that everybody's just impressed with solo, we'll do that.
Yeah, solo teams are the rage right now. So you can be funny, it can be cool. We have more points if it's cool. But yeah.
Yeah, we'll just do a vote. That sound good to you, Burger?
Sure, yeah. Just let me know who wins and who I got to send it to. But yeah, it'd be great to see.
All right, cool. And then we'll match and we'll do a second and third place from WROL as well.
Perfect. But actually, I did go today. It was pretty exciting. I went today to get do a Lasik evaluation, see if I can get Lasik. So that way for my wife, like if you ask her, it's that way I could see her and my son better and things like that when I'm not wearing glasses or needing to strain all the time. But in reality, the big thing that I wanted to do is apparently something in Siege is happening with the top 2 people, and they're seeing buttons and moves faster than I ever could. And so I was like, you know what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to get Lasik, and then maybe that's the secret to their sauce that I'm hoping will help nudge me up a little bit extra. And 2020 vision has to be good for an extra 200 or 300 points halfway through Siege. I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but that's that was a big event for me today. But remember, if wife or son, if you're listening, it's really to see you guys better. But everybody else, it's to hopefully I can catch some magic like they are.
Well, maybe that's my problem because I'm getting up there in age now, so my vision's bound to go sooner or later. My parents had glasses early, and I still haven't went and actually I don't even know the last time I had my eyes checked. So yeah,
supposed to get it every year, brother.
No, when I look in the mirror, I'm like, oh, I'm looking all right. So I don't know about that. All right, guys.
Well, thanks for coming on, Burger. I think the audience will appreciate the contest, and let us know your submissions, people, and we'll see you soon.
All right, thanks, Burger. We appreciate you coming on. Definitely
no
have
problem.
you on again.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Maybe during a Raids podcast, we'll have you on. That would be great.
For sure. Let's do it.
And then one other last note I forgot to mention. We are going to eventually transition our podcast to a Twitch stream, possibly sooner than later. So that way we can do the podcast live for most episodes, and then it will go to our normal channels afterwards. So that way you can see gameplay to make video editing so much easier. So anyway,
you had a lot of people on there last week for a short.
That was fun. So
yeah.
we definitely plan to move forward with that. I already have someone helping me. Big thank you to Protensis, who's been helping me with setting everything up. So he figured out a way to stream Skype for me. So we will that will be done very soon. All right, guys. So we will call it there. Till next time. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Renee Sylvia 88, DC Legends moderator. Thank you for listening to this episode of WROL Broadcast. If you like the show, please check out patreon.com/WROL Broadcast and find out how to get cool perks. I've always wondered, is Kage the type of Asian who is good at math? Or is he the type that puts used eBay parts on a Civic and jams out to drink?